you know me. I'm the last person on earth to be negative Nelly. But there are some uncomfortable things, I think, going on as we approach the Super Bowl.
Like what?
Death blows? No, not at all. Weird week. And I guess this is how I'll describe it. So individually, none of these things is crazy. The field at UNLV.
How do you put grass on top of turf?
Apparently you just throw it down.
You just throw it down on top of turf.
That's what it sounds like.
That just sounds like you're playing on a sponge. Like what? I don't even know what that is.
And I think that's what they're doing.
Okay.
And they're practicing today on sponges.
Did that kid that Achilles, calves, knees? That's not good. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Not good. Kyle Shanahan potentially had some pops before a press conference. And I have zero issue with that, but it's different. That's different. Kyle Shanahan had multiple 1 to 1 minute, 1.5 minute answers, which is rare for him, where he had no ums.
He had no ums. I didn't hear it.
The word. He never used the word stuff. He likes to use the word stuff.
Yeah.
You read about it.
Yeah,
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
There it is. I got two of them. So first of all, and this is the next thing I'll get to, remember when Jed York came out and about a week ago, and he's like, so Kyle came to me after practice one day and goes, hey, owner, we need to talk. I think our third-string quarterback's our best quarterback. So he shared that whole story. Well, Kyle gets to Vegas, and at media night, they ask him about that story. Listen to the answer. Here it is.
It's funny to hear Jed say that because it wasn't the smartest moment I've ever had. I mean, when an owner comes in after training camp practices and is like, hey, how's the quarterback? And what he means is the starter or the second. And you in irritation go, I don't know, but our third guy's the best. Like, that's not what he wants to hear. So that's why he remembers it very strong. But that was just more, Brock was so good right away with every rep he got. He was always the same. And he only got a couple of them. So it was easy for me to say. Because in his few reps, he was the best. But if you know that for a fact, I mean, then you do what you do right away. But he was the best. But you ease that on. And every time he got a little more reps, it was the same as when he only got 2. And so when it was all said and done and he got a lot of playing time, I was like, oh, this looks exactly like what I told you when I was irritated. And he only had 3 reps. And I said, no, he's the best. But that's what was so real about Brock. That's why after his 7 games, his rookie year, even when he got hurt, we knew what we had because he'd been that way in practice every day. And it was the exact same way in the games.
I mean, a couple of old fashions maybe, right? And I had no issue with that. But man, he was fluid as a different Kyle Shanahan.
You got to be careful if you have a few beers before or a few drinks before you do anything live, right? For 2 reasons. You could slip and something could come out bad, or the main reason I've never done it is you could be really good for a change, and then you set a dangerous precedent that I got to have a few pops before going, and then a few pops turns into a few more. Next thing you know, you're Harry Carey and you're slurring through a broadcast. But hey, if you worked all season long to get to Las Vegas, and maybe you have a team meeting where you say, hey, we're going to enjoy this for 2 days. You guys go do your thing for 2 days. Everybody stay out of the news. Make that your number one priority. Stay out of the news. But we're in Vegas. It's the Super Bowl. It's the first Super Bowl ever in Las Vegas. Go have fun. And guess what? I'm going to have fun too. And I think that's awesome. Hey, have a couple pops.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It sounds dangerous as hell.
It is dangerous.
I would not tell a football team, all right, here's the deal. We're in Vegas. Go have fun, but just do a good job of it. And we'll see you in 48 hours.
Yeah. Go, just stay out of jail.
What?
Oh. I did it once in my whole career. And I drank before I went on the air.
Oh, okay.
And it was in Milwaukee. It was in Milwaukee, and we were playing the Brewers, and I was the broadcaster. And we did a story on Jordan Zimmerman, and his whole family was out tailgating. I'm talking like 20 people. And they're making these Bloody Marys that have shrimp and salami and everything. And if you know Brewers, every 81 home games, it's
Milwaukee.
like a foot in Milwaukee.
No. The whole state of Wisconsin.
The whole parking lot is a tailgate. They all got their RVs.
Right.
They get there for 4 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game, and it's like a Packers game.
It's cheese. It's alcohol, and it's whatever you want.
So
quite frankly,
one of the Nationals pitchers was from a small town outside of Milwaukee, and the family was there, and we had a cameraman, and we were interviewing everybody. And he's texting from the clubhouse, you have to try the Bloody Marys. They're the best ever. I'm like, no, bro, I don't ever drink before I go on the air. So peer pressure got me, and I had a Bloody Mary or two.
Okay.
Before I went on.
And how'd it go?
It was amazing. I had a great broadcast, maybe my only great broadcast ever. And then I thought, oh, God, I could never do that again.
Like, I don't actually know that Kyle had alcohol, but he probably did because he never stuttered, even in the slightest.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, he got lucky once. That was 1 minute. He got lucky. He got on a roll, and he unleashed a clean speech. And then they asked him another question, and the man went and did it again.
Well, it's such a weird conversation to hear the whole world talk about this, but like, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a great quarterback if you can't be a game manager. Like, so I don't get how being a system quarterback and a game manager is a negative. Like, the job of a quarterback is to manage the game, and it is to run the system. The system's what you work on all week. That's what the whole line works on. That's what your 5 eligibles work on. That's everything. And the quarterback, if you want to be great, you better be able to run that system, and you better be able to manage the game. But if you want to stay in that position, understand that no system is going to be perfect. There's going to be times where you have no answers. And if you want to stay there, you better make some plays. And that's how you become a consistent quarterback. You're a game manager, you run the system right, and you can make plays. And if you don't have those 3 things, it's a matter of time. 1 game, 2 game, 2 years, it's a matter of time. But Brock does all 3 of those things, so I don't get what we're talking about.
I don't get what we're talking about.
Yeah, a great prop bet would be in the Shanahan press conference.
Yeah.
Over under.
Yeah.
There was
the under.
zero.
Zero.
It's the first time I ever heard that.
Zero.
I'm sure you guys have been talking about it. That's outstanding.
It's just a weird week. So you got Sod, you got Shanny, and Jed York won't shut up. So he started this whole thing a week ago. That was at the facility before the 49ers leave. I don't know how many of you saw this. He goes on the Kay Adams show today, live in Vegas. Now, that's not hey, we caught up with Jed because he was walking by. That's somebody put in a request with the 49ers, and Jed said yes and showed up at a big set with cameras and couches and Kay and did an interview and started talking about things like what Deebo Samuel said at halftime in the locker room when the Niners are down 24-7. Apparently, it was something along the lines of, hey, Kyle, get me the bleeping ball. And so all of that's fine, but it's different. Like, compare it to the Chiefs. What have you heard this week about the Chiefs?
Nothing.
Well,
I mean, not to compare everything to baseball, but I always do. The Chiefs are just playing another game.
Yep.
The Niners are playing the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And you feel like maybe Jed's taking a victory lap. So to me, when you start to pull the curtain back a little bit and tell some cool stories, and stories about what happened in the locker room, or maybe what happened with Kyle and Brock Purdy early on, and that Kyle thought Brock Purdy was his guy. Those are great stories once you've had the parade on Market Street. Because now we start to pull the curtain back and tell why and what happened in the NFC Championship game. And Deebo was pissed at halftime, and he said, "Get me the ball." And Kyle knew Brock was his guy when he was a third-string guy. And he was telling the owner that, which is a tough conversation, by the way, when you spent $33 million or whatever and 3 picks on Trey Lance. That never goes over well with ownership. But Kyle's really authentic and honest, and that's what he does. But yeah, I don't have a problem with this. If an owner's going to give the Chiefs bulletin board material, like, bro, be quiet. Jed, stop. He's kind of pulling the curtain back, and it seems like he's taking a victory lap a little bit early for me. Like, you just won the NFC Championship. Wait till you win the Super Bowl and then tell me all the cute, funny stories. Write a book. I don't care.
Right.
But, like, win the game that you're supposed to win. Win the game that 90% of Niner fans will think your season's a failure if you don't. And win that game first. And then tell me all the cool stuff that went on.
And maybe you can't because maybe nobody cares. Like, maybe nobody's going to come find you after the Super Bowl. Or people are going to go find the owner like they will on the field. But then what happens after that? Everybody's gone. Everybody's a ghost when it's over.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, maybe that's the thought process. I'm with you. I'm not bringing any of this up because I'm mad at any of it. I'm just noticing. I'm noticing, and some of it's a little bit uncomfortable. You're right. The Kansas City Chiefs feel like they are doing what they do for the second Sunday in February. The 49ers feel like they're on a damn tour, and everything is about them. The fans that are showing up in Vegas are about the Niners. Everyone's sick of the Chiefs. I get it. But by the same token, the face of the league is here. They are the defending champs. Their tight end is dating the most famous human being on planet Earth right now. And they are library quiet.
And the quarterback's the best quarterback in the game.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. It's face of the league. And then here come the Niners, and they're like, so one of our defensive ends didn't try last week. Our quarterback's really cute, and he got drafted in a fun way. Our coach has had a couple drinks. Our owner is on line one, and our fans are everywhere. Woo!
Dude, I got a newsflash for you.
Like,
Chase Young.
what is going on?
Chase Young hasn't been trying for a long time. I focus on him all the time. He just stands up and watches plays go by.
Yeah.
He just doesn't play hard. And then the guy on the other side's motor's always running.
I want to believe that the 49ers are going to win this game, and I'm not going to tell you that I don't feel that way. What I do think, though, is this. I think those of us who think the 49ers are going to win the game are ignoring who the 49ers have been for the last month or so. And maybe that is rational, because before that, they were the best team in football. But it's as if we think they're going to win because we're expecting the version of the 49ers that we want to show up, as opposed to the group that has been showing up. So I just don't know if we're basing all of this on irrational thought. The 49ers can be the best team. They have been the best team. On paper, they've got the best roster. But it's been, what's today? February 7th? Been a month and a half since we've seen them. Been a month and a half since we've seen the 49ers that we should actually have confidence in.
So do you think the 2 weeks of prep will help them to get back to that team? I mean, what do you think? Like, when you think about this game, you have one team playing the best they've played all season long in the Chiefs.
Totally.
I mean, they're rolling. I don't know how Travis Kelce keeps getting open. Like, that's the guy you got to stop, period, and let somebody else beat you. End of story. Travis Kelce can't beat you. And then when you have the Niners they have the come from behind thing going right now. And when you get that feeling that you're in every game no matter what happens and you don't have to panic and you've been through some adversity, that bodes well too. So I guess it's how you're looking at this game. You guys heard me when I was on air last time. I was really worried about the Lions. I thought the Lions were to give them the best game of the year. There was a little part of me that thought the Lions were going to win that game. But my fandom took over, and I thought the Niners would win by 3. I got lucky. But I thought that game was over at halftime. I'm sure you guys have had plenty of time to talk about it. I haven't. But I think a lot of Niners fans that I was texting, all my buddies were like, we're getting our ass kicked right now. Totally. It's not just the score. They were dominating. But to have that, whatever it is, whatever Brock flipped that switch on the last drive, and the way Brock has come back, and that's the one box that he hadn't checked, and now you have that in your resume, in your arsenal. That's an ultimate confidence level to know that if I don't get a hit my first 2 times up, and I look stupid and I strike out, but I come up in the 9th inning with the bases loaded, I have that confidence to be able to put the ball and play hard somewhere. Yeah. And I think now Brock Purdy and the 49ers have that confidence in the fourth quarter that they can come through and figure it out. No matter what happens in the game, throw it at us. But I told you this off the air. You give me Patrick Mahomes at any points, I'm taking that all day long. You give me the best, arguably one of the best quarterbacks ever, and a guy that's been there and done that. His confidence is off the charts. They're playing their best football of the year, and you give me him in 2 points. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I know everything. That if you give me a half a point with Patrick Mahomes that I'm betting, I'll take it.